All right, we're doing the Smoldering Moor in Eberron. This is a Trophy Gold Incursion. Quick little, very quick version of Cats. Trophy Gold is a game about desperate treasure hunters entering the forest or other forbidden spaces that do not want them there. And we have set this in Eberron. So not only do we have the fear and horror tropes of trophy, but we also have the high pulp, high fantasy, well, high fantasy, uh, high pulp fantasy noir elements that can be phoned in from Eberron whenever we want them to. And we're going to find a sort of happy medium between those two worlds. We've been doing it so far. Our aim, tell a good story. We've got 4 weeks to get you guys to meet your burdens. Your burdens are a score reflected on your sheet representing your debts, your upkeep, if you will, and they increase as you get more powerful, forcing you to go on ever more dangerous and risky propositions. Um, we'll talk about your burdens more in a second. Tone, like I said, the tone of Trophy Gold is risky and driven. Um, the tone of Eberron tends to be more either pulp or noir. And we're, like I said, going to find that sort of happy medium between the two of them. And then last but not least, safety tools. No game is as important as its players. And so I have a few safety tools that I like to use. Those are the X card, lines and veils, and the open door policy. Lines and veils, we have a sheet on our safety tab. Feel free to look over it. Feel free to add things to it. I will refer back to this sheet. It is a living document. And again, just for the sake of a shared lexicon, a line is content that will not appear in the game whatsoever, will not be mentioned or alluded to. So things like sexual assault, sexual violence, intimate partner violence, mind control are not going to be appearing in this story whatsoever. A veil is content that can occur, but we're not going to role play it out. It's not going to be actively focused on. We can do Hitchcock style, like camera shifts or fade to blacks, or it could be something that somebody alludes to in a backstory or a recounting, but it's not going to be something that we focus and dwell on. Um, and yeah, and we don't really have any ask firsts in this sheets, and then we do have some expressed interests, which are classism, PC betrayal, and romance. Hopefully I can, other than the PC betrayal, provide all of those things. It's on you to betray each other. um, we also have the X card, which again, in the context of a online game, such as with a Zoom call, there are a few things you can do. I'm not the biggest fan in the world of like doing X's, but if that works for you, then by all means, you can type X card, X or X card in the chats. Um, or send me a message on Discord. There is always a chance, however, that the window that you try and contact me in is not the one I have up at the moment. So if I seem to be rambling on, continuing into content that you find unsavory, and I'm not responding to the X card, try and reach out to me in multiple different ways. If you see somebody, if you see another player trying to get me to stop or getting another player to stop the session, help them out. Because again, you might be able to see stuff either like in a chat window or in another medium that I do not. If the X card is invoked, we will stop play, we will figure out the offending content, and we will go back to a period before that content was introduced and figure out a way to progress forward. For specificity's sake and clarity's sake, I may ask for more specificity on what is being X carded, but I will not ask you why. And then last but not least, the open door policy simply states you are allowed to leave for any duration, for any reason whatsoever. You do not have to justify yourself. You can just leave. uh, and that can be anything from I have a doorbell, I've got to go answer it, to I'm just not having fun at this table, to my schedule is a little bit more full than I thought it would be, and I'm not going to be able to continue playing. If you do know when you are going to be able to return, or if you'll be able to return, I would take it as a kindness to let me know those things. You do not have to do those things, but especially if it's going to be something like, hey, I'm just going to be out for the rest of the incursion. Let me know if you get a chance. Everybody cool with those safety tools? We have two people not using face cams, so either like a thumbs up in the chat or whatever. I will try and be a little bit more prescient about watching the chat for you guys. And also, yes, I don't know if that's the AI thing, but yeah, we have the thumbs up emoji over uh, over people. Yeah, it's wild. Welcome.
There's
It's
a
a
cool little react guy. Oh wait, send with
Oh.
effect.
How do you do that?
oh no.
Oh God.
Oh, I see. There we go. There we go.
Oh no. We've given people way too much power. Um yeah. Yeah, also it's like if you like hold up your hand, sometimes the AI will reckon
Oh,
no, no. Oh my god. Anyways, um so yeah, let's get into um but yeah, I seem to get a cool thumbs up from everybody about those safety tools. um Cool. Does everybody have, well, you obviously have the Zoom room open. Does every, looks like I see three icons in the character keeper. So it looks like one of you is not there. So be sure to open up the character keeper, and then I will post, in case anybody missed it in the Discord, I will post the dice roller. Um, I'm fine with you guys using physical dice if you want to use physical dice, but if you want to use the roller, there's the roller, so we can all gasp over your horrible rolls together. Cool. I'm going to reintroduce the intro to this incursion. I've got a few questions I would like answers for, and we're just going to take a little like 5-minute break after that, so you have some time to think about and reflect on those questions while I set up the opening set. Oh, actually, before we get into that, looking at my schedule and agenda, I wanted to go over some of y'all's burdens because I feel like I did some bad math somewhere or bad keeper things. Because I was looking over these. So your burden score should be 1 simply for existing, 1 for each piece of combat equipment that you have, 1 for each ritual you've taken after character creation through part of like the library, I think. Let me double check on that because some of you have hunter, and I don't remember if that increases your burdens. Let me find burdens. I apologize for myself later that I didn't. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and pause the recording now because this is all out of character stuff. We don't care about this. So beep, beep. All right. Everybody's burdens sorted out. We are good to go. Let's reintroduce this incursion, get us into it. There's no fun little poem at the start of this, which makes me really sad. I love the little poems that they get us in. But with buried wealth rests buried nobles. Warlord Banmir's cairn lies at Cairmaw Castle, nestled in the mist-shrouded moors of the Ashen Spires. News has reached your ears that a wildfire has caused most residents of the castle and the village at the foot of the mountains to take refuge elsewhere. You are prepared to slip in as soon as it is safe, even sooner, really, to plunder the unguarded wealth of Kermaw and ride away before the locals return. You've heard the stories of the shrieking herd on the moors, but that can't have anything to do with Kermaw, can it? It doesn't matter. What matters is the gold and the jewels just ripe for the taking. So, before we get into this, I have some side quests that you might be interested in and that might involve you. Um, Tuvo, I'm going to retcon something from the end of our last incursion. You were approached by a member of Heathertop House, and they said that they had somebody in Kermaw that they wanted to get out. If that all sound familiar?
Yeah.
Okay. Um, I think I said something along the lines of they would give you the same deal that you got for Wellsload, which is like 2 gold for every hunter. I'm going to take a backsies on that and say they're willing to offer you and you alone 2 gold if you can get this Heathertop House graduate either out or get a detailed report from her back to Heathertop House. One of those 2 things has to occur, or certain knowledge of her fate. If she is alive and you get her out or get a detailed report from her, they will offer you 2 gold. If she is dead and you bring them certain like proof of her fate, they will offer you 1 gold. A little bit of a, consolation prize. But that's for you. They don't care about the rest of your party. And they have a sneaking suspicion that you'll go and do work for them. What my question to you is, you were given a detailed description of this person, or even possibly a scroll with their image on it. How will you know her when you come across her? Because again, they're in disguise and they are quite well masters of disguise. But how will you know her when you see her? Think on that for a bit, because we're going to go on break here in a second.
Okay.
I'll also drop that in chat. Asta, your family are a bunch of storied like jewel thieves, right?
Right.
So this whole thing is you're planning on going into Kermaw and get this treasure from this Carnathi, it's a cairn, so it's a dead Carnathi buried royal. But what treasure did someone in your family previously fail to steal, and now they get made fun of at every family meal for it?
I love that.
You don't have to answer now. I'm going to give people like 5 minutes. Bonus points. How do you feel about this family member? Rivalry? Admiration? Did they warrant the scorn that their family now gives them, that your family now gives them? Theda.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just check. I was going to do something fun with your drive, but I just couldn't think of one really fast enough. So I have something more fun. You're Theda's a botanist, if I remember correctly, right? Or herbalist.
Yes, an herbalist. Yes.
This is a little world building for you. There is a magical flora, a plant life of some kind that grows exclusively in Kermaw. And this is Eberron. Wide magic is a thing, but sometimes we've already talked about some magical plants previously, including things like what was it? Rizian apricot.
Rizian apricot.
A known hallucinogenic. What rare, extremely rare, and magical flora, feel free to make it up, grows in Kermaw or is exported from Kermaw? And considering the fact that there's wildfires crawling all over the place, what about its care or keeping convinces you that you'll be able to find some even as the entire area is on fire? I gotta actually like physically type this up. Um, all right. And then last but not least, Theoban, your brother had a contact in Kermaw. Who were they? And why do you think, if you can contact them, why do you think they would be sympathetic to your cause? Mind you, again, um, Kermaw is burning. They might well have evacuated, but this could be your chance. Maybe there's something else in that connection there. I don't know. But I'm just going to plant that seed. Cool. So let's go ahead, take a quick little 5-minute break, come back at about 2 past the hour, and think on those questions. And I look forward to your answers. So see you in. Oh, also, one last thing. We are moving into a wildfire encroached space. So I'll have you introduce your characters, but I'm also curious how they've modified their costumes to deal with active wildfire area. So think on that and see you in about 5. So I'm going to go back through those questions now for their answers. Tuvo, how will you recognize this Heathertop House graduate agent? Yeah.
Yeah. So despite her being brought up now in Heathertop, she has a, a brand marking her as an early life thief.
Any more details, such as the location of this brand?
I'm going to say that unlike where most of them are on the hand or the wrist, somehow she got this one on an ankle, so it is easier to hide.
Cool. I look forward to you asking everyone that you see, can I check your ankle? And yeah, just a reminder, if you come back with her alive, if you successfully extract her, or if she can't be extracted but gives you a accurate report, you will get 2 gold from Heathertop. If she is dead and you come back with certain news of her fate, particularly proof, you'll get 1 gold. Cool. Asta, what treasure did your family famously fail to steal previously?
So it's this really oh like really ornate necklace called the Heart of Karnath. And it's got like kind of like different strands of like chains on it with like huge jewels on it. They each like represent each duchy. And there's like a big garnet at the throat that is like heart shaped or like almost like human heart shaped, sort of, but it's not very well done, but it's like everything is very big. And like this was like a gift from the king or something to this family at some point in time. Um, and so like Asta, didn't meet her family. I think at some point in time she's like, you know what? I've stolen enough stuff. I can totally go become a member of my family. She didn't know about the 50 gold in trophy rule. And so she went to go find them and was like, hey guys, guess who's here? And hoping they would be really excited and like want to hear all about her adventures and stuff like that. And this particular cousin especially was really like mean to her and just like, oh, like you aren't a member of our family. Like you don't deserve to be here. Like you haven't done anything yet. What are you talking about? And so Asa definitely is like does not like this person.
Do you have a name for this person?
Sibylla.
Sibylla. And just because we finally remembered it, Sibylla Yaranek. More like Sibylla, you're a jerk. Am I
I
right?
know, she was awful.
Fantastic. Actually, we know they're a cousin. They might not be Yaranek. But in any case, and yeah, the 50 gold rule is like you're just trying to earn the right to your family name.
Right,
They might
right,
still like let you like come and hang out for holidays, but they're not going to
right.
talk about like business, you know.
No,
You
no,
sit
yeah.
at the kiddie table. Oh, that's painful. Um, anyways, fantastic. I'm definitely gonna have a lot of fun with that. Oh, sorry, the Heart of Karnath. If anybody else uh finds it and manages to sell it off in their hoard, like most treasures, uh it is worth 1 gold to them. For you, it will be worth 3 gold because it will help advance your drive directly. Actually, no, I might adjust some of these values. We'll see. Um, Theta, what rare magical flora grows or is exported from Kermaw, and what about its care keeping will leads you to believe you'll find some, even though the area is plagued by wildfires?
Okay, there is a plant that grows there called the ember flower, and it when you sort of distill it, you can either sort of mortar and pestle it, or you can sort of try and extract the liquids from it. And either way, it will, if applied to the skin, it will create a warming sensation that acts as sort of a painkiller. And Theta has good reason to think that there will be ember flowers here because they germinate uh, in intense heat. So the wildfires will actually be the perfect condition to have germinated some of these plants. And so she's really hoping to see some little seedlings about.
Cool. Um, you have a specific contact that you know will buy these off of you, these emberflower seeds or emberflower spores, it almost kind of sounds like. So if you can bring back a full bag of emberflower spores, I don't think anybody else will even be able to identify them without you. If somebody else did, it'd be worth 1 gold for them. For you, it'd be worth 3 gold. Um,
Great.
fantastic. Uh, worth 3 gold. Um, and Theoban, what about your brother's contact? What can you tell me about them?
My brother's contact is a shifter woman named Griselle Fanghorn. She was actually my bu brother's betrothed, who came back to her home of Caramau, to tend to her own flock after their marriage plans went through. It was like an arranged thing, when my brother was sent to prison for killing our flock. And now with the wildfires, her flock is in danger.
So I got Griselle. What was her surname?
Spanghorn. Here, haha, I posted it.
Banghorn.
Two A's.
Banghorn.
Because when you're a shifter, you gotta lean on it real hard.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And this group has never had anything bad happen to them from femme shifters,
Nope.
particularly ones with whom they were previously attached. But you weren't previously attached to Griselle. That was your
It was my
brother.
brother. It was my brother. It was
So
my brother. So it's
yeah.
fine. It's fine.
Um, How do you think Grizel would feel if she saw you, though? Like, does she know you exist?
Yeah, she definitely knows I exist. I think Theoban hopes that it will be at the very least not like an angry reunion, but instead one of, he be definitely believes that the two of them had some form of very high regard for each other. And perhaps with him and Pastuche there, with the danger in the area, he can at the very least be of some help to a fellow woolly mammoth farmer, rancher, herder, shepherd.
Okay, so her expression is woolly mammoth.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Good to know. Fantastic. If I had inspiration to give you all, I would give it to you, but I don't. Oh, if you can secure Grizel's aid, I can't give you anything. I mean, maybe she might have like some material that she might be able to give you, but it will be functionally worth 2 gold directly into your hoard, representing her either material or immaterial aid. So it won't help you with your burdens, at least not uh not with the fictional positioning I can offer you right now, but she might be able to offer some help in lending her aid. Um, Even though your drive is to buy your brother's way out of Dreadhold, she might be able to provide some immaterial aid there. So
Perfect.
cool. With all that said and done and squared away, like I said, I might change some of these values. We'll see. Um, but with all that in mind, let's get into the incursion. So Kerma is still some distance away. Ordinarily, the moorlands have dense purple heather and scattered white cotton grass, but much of it's been reduced to ash. Large fires still burn, and the air is thick with low lying smoke. The road to Kerma is still ablaze, so a path through the still burning heath must be found. This set is called the Wildfires. Your set goal, very simple, reach Kerma. Um, let's just have character reintroductions. This time, let's go right to left in the character keeper. So Theoban, Theda, Asta, and Tuvo reintroduce us to your character, their general vibe and look, um, and how they have modified their costume to deal with thick smoke and near proximity fires.
Theoban is a frail looking young human gentleman with very pale skin and very dark hair. And alongside him is a small yet poofy, um, loyal herding dog, Pastuche, with dark black and brown coloring. And he's wearing his typical garb, except for he's added an extra layer of woolen um, mitts. And Pastuche, who normally is fine with the cold, has a woolen blanket laid over top his back. And the both of them have tightly woven linen scarves around their necks. And Theoban seems to be carrying an extra water skin that sloshes that he refuses to touch, presumably to wet down the cloths around their necks to bring them up over their nose and mouth to stop from breathing in the smoke.
Fantastic. Theta.
Okay. Theda is a sturdily built woman who, if you look closely, might look a little familiar. She used to be an actor, and so some aspects of that are still potentially recognizable. Now she is an herbalist, and so always has sort of the faint air of like not paying total attention to what's going on because sometimes she partakes of her own herbs, if you know what I mean. Um, so she has some clothing that's got some sort of a heat repellent coating on the outside of it. Her outer layer has got sort of a heat repellent coating on the outside of it. And she's also got some flowers in her bag that if you hold them up to your nose, they sort of help purify a little bit the air that you're taking in.
Fantastic. Asta.
Right, Asta is, I think, a little short for a dwarf, but she's a dwarf. She's got blonde hair, and right now it is pulled back really tight in a braid because she doesn't want to like have it catch on fire. Um, and she's like walking along. She's got like this big halberd on her back, and like, but kind of like this spring in her step. Like she's excited to be back on the road, back adventuring with her friends. Um, and she's wearing kind of it almost looks like a like I feel like potholder-esque, like this cloak that comes about to her elbows. That covers like yeah, the top half of her body. It's sort of a dark red and like a hood that comes up. And then yeah, she also has sort of like a really finely woven scarf that she can pull up over her nose. But right now it's kind of waving behind her.
Fantastic. And Tuvo.
Tuvo is a Korovar, and instead of his normal fur-lined heavy winter clothing from coming from the town of Ice, um, similar colors, but linens. He is sleeveless currently, but has replaced his fur-lined gloves and boots with elbow and thigh high, tight leather boots and gloves. And they are studded with jacinth, which give the impression that there's probably some fire resistance. And he has a headdress and scarf.
Fantastic. So like I said, the path to Karamah is uh covered uh in burning debris. And in fact, it's you're now deep enough in the wildfires that you're not even sure you're still on the path. The way that you know you're still relatively close is that off to the side, you see a burned cart. There's a partially burned ox corpse still harnessed to it. And it's just kind of, I think it's probably on its side. You'd have to get closer if you want to actually do any investigating there. Um, to one side of your group is a peat flat, a small field of peat that curiously still appears green and vibrant as though untouched by the flame. At the center of this peat flat uh, is a waist-high cairn, a group of stones that have been stacked together as a form of burial. They are probably, there's probably something underneath them, is a safe assumption with cairns. And then through some of that like thick black acrid smoke every now and then when the wind shifts, you feel like you see the sort of silhouette of a small cottage up towards up on a small hill some distance from you all. But those are the things that you kind of have access to from here. But I'm going to turn it over to you guys. If you want to do something, feel free to go and look around and explore. If you just want to sit around and chat, feel free to do that too. We haven't seen this arrangement of hunters together yet, so take it away.
I
So
think. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
nope,
You're
nope,
good.
nope.
You.
Okay. Um, Tuvo is going to be conversing, but making his way towards the cairn to start with.
Cool. Are you just gonna step out onto the peat?
Um, no,
Why
because it
not?
seems out of place. That is what this magical Acme space is for.
Magical Acme space.
The
Yeah,
backpack.
how are oh, gotcha. Yes, yes, yes. Go look for something in there.
So what have you been up to lately, Theda? What what uh what sorts of things have you been doing? You weren't with us on the last thing that we did. Just kind of curious.
Oh, I had this special order for some bonsai trees, and it takes a surprisingly long time to make trees small. Um,
Do you shrink the trees down?
oh, that might have been better.
Oh,
No,
uh,
it's a lot of careful pruning and training, and it's funny that they call it training. Um, what have you been up to? All I heard was like something with bees.
I don't want to talk about it.
Oh, I'm real sorry.
He had a girlfriend. He had a
Did
bee girlfriend.
She wasn't a bee. Technically, she's a queen, and not had. I'll find her again one day.
Well, I'll keep an eye on, stuff that hovers around my flowers and see if any of them know you.
And they say there's a prince out in the Lazar too. So sure, she's a queen.
Theoban's gonna give Tuvo just the dirtiest, shittiest fucking look. Just real scumbag behavior.
Tuvo's going to pull out it would have to be, but collapsible pole.
Collapsible pole. Okay, the 10-foot pole.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm also gonna unmark that because it's still got holdover formatting. There we go. Yeah. So what are you going to touch with this 10-foot pole?
Gonna
Are you-
poke the peat.
You're gonna poke the peat. Okay, fantastic. Uh, this sounds like a hunt roll. Pretty simple. You get one light die for just asking questions about the world, which seems like the question is, what happens when I poke the peat? And you have your equipment, which is the pole. So go ahead and give me a 2-die hunt roll, and let's go ahead and kick this thing off with a bang.
Yep, that's about
That's a
right.
bang. That's a bang. All right. That's a 3 high. So you do not get a hunt token. And just to revisit the text of the hunt roll really quickly. So roll the dice. If your highest die is a 2 to 3, you just encounter something terrible. That's all the advice the book gives here. There is something to be said for on lower numbers. The something terrible is more immediate of a danger, but it doesn't have to be. So what I will say is, well, let me give you the objective answer because that's the other thing is it's not a perception check. You get the objective answer anyways. You poke it, and a jet of superheated steam screams into the sky. Just full on like boiling tea, just like steam, just like sprouting up into the air. Um, you're something terrible. Um, far away off in the distance, you hear a wolf howling. And then a moment later, like after you've poked this, almost as if like you were the one who caused it, you hear a much closer, unidentifiable shriek. What do you all do?
Hey, be careful, man. You're hurting the ground.
I have the feeling it's about to hurt back.
Oh.
Um, maybe Tuvo, don't do that. Maybe we shouldn't walk over the peat or anything.
I bet if we ran fast enough, we could get to the cairn before anything bad happened.
How's that training been going?
Really good. I'm really good.
Ooh, what are you training to do?
Um, Kill a vampire. It's gonna be fine. But I don't think there's a vampire here. I think I could just run. So, yeah, I think we're good for this. Anyone want to come with? Anyone fast enough? Okay. No, us is gonna take off for the cairn.
Cool. Let's talk about the risk roll. When you attempt a risky task. So here's the other thing about the risk roll is the way that we've been doing this is I have been guiding us. As it is written, it is actually the player who is supposed to be guiding the role here. This might require a little bit of transition and thinking because I'm the one staring at the text. But so the actual text is when you attempt a risky task, say what you hope will happen and ask the GM and other players what could possibly go wrong. So why don't we go ahead and just have you do that?
So,
yeah.
no, like Asta hopes to safely arrive at the cairn and loot some grave.
Now, guys, what could go wrong here?
The ground might not be solid and it could pull her in.
Yeah, might not be able to support Asta's weight. It could be a plant creature.
Oh shit. Yeah. Yeah, I think she could fall into scalding hot peat and just get burned.
Boiled.
I also think what could go wrong here is there is just no treasure underneath the cairn. You do it, you succeed. It's just a plain.
It's just boring. a warning cairn to not go on the damn peat.
Yeah, or somebody else looted it before you. Who knows? Yeah. Cool. That's all some fun stuff that we could figure out. Although I do really like the idea that like the easy one is just like if you fall through the peat, you breach the surface and it's just you get burned all to hell. That seems like the obvious one. But we'll see. So you get one light die. If it's something you're skilled at because of your occupation or background, I think athletics applies here. It seems like that's what you're going for.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you can take a light die for accepting a devil's bargain from another player or me. So let's get some devil's bargains on the table. Well, actually, let me first ask, are you interested in even hearing devil's bargains?
Oh, I'm always interested in hearing about devil's bargains.
Fantastic. So just a reminder, devil's bargains are narrative complications that happen no matter what the outcome of the roll. They cannot negate the success in any way, but they can do other things. And they do not have to even really be related to the task at hand. They can just be narrative complications. So, what are some good devil's bargains here, guys?
No matter what, if there is anything in the cairn, it is burned and or melted beyond recognition.
Technically doesn't negate the success because the roll is just to get across the cairn. Well, actually, the roll was to get across the cairn and loot stuff, but it could be that the stuff is slag.
No matter what, the cairn is occupied.
I was going to say, no matter what, there is in fact a vampire.
I was going to say, no matter what, whatever's buried underneath the cairn isn't fully dead. So,
oh, that's amazing. Yes, yes.
Vampire spawn, ghoul, what have you. Doesn't have to be full vampiric lord, but guess that depends on how you roll.
All right, Hollywood, are you interested in any of those devil's bargains?
Yeah. No, I feel like the vampire one's almost too good. Just because she just said there's no vampires.
Literally why I thought of it. I'm like, that's just, you were begging for that.
Oh, yes, yes.
Are we going for actual literal vampire?
Yes.
Fantastic. All right. So you have 2 light die. Here's an interesting question. Are you risking do you feel like you are risking your mind or body to attempt this task?
Yeah, I would say so.
I kind of feel like you are, because you're running across superheated peat. So you'll get a dark die. You have I am allowed to inflict dark die if you have conditions that are relevant here, but I do not think either of your current conditions, Echoes of the Red Rose and Fury of the Red Rose, currently apply. So let's go ahead and roll a dark 2 light, 1 dark risk roll. Cool. So 4 dark, when the dark die is highest, you cannot re-roll.
Mm-hmm.
Now, on a 4 to 5, you succeed, but there's some kind of complication. Before I get any farther into this, I should say help rolls are on the table because you did do a risk roll that involves a dark die. So if somebody else would like to help, we can talk about the text of the help roll. Is anybody interested in helping? And Asta, are you interested in receiving help? I don't really know how exactly
take help if there's interest, but I don't expect. Yeah.
Tuvo is willing to help.
Oh, also, I will say that the 4 dark is higher than your current ruin, so your ruin will increase for this.
Yay.
So, Tuvo, you said you are willing to help. Let me go to the text of the help roll because it's our first time doing this in a while. If another player is making risk roll, includes at least 1 dark die, you may offer to help. If they accept your offer, which Asta has, Holly has, say how you expose yourself to danger. So it actually doesn't even say how you help. Say how you expose yourself to danger and roll 1 light die.
Oh, he's going to give her a head start with your classic dwarf tossing. Which means he's leaning over the peat to do so.
Got it. I was gonna ask how are you exposing yourself to danger, but I love that. You could just go right in with it. Fantastic. Go ahead and roll a light die. 1 light die, please.
Oh.
What do we got?
Oh, that was hot.
6.
It's fine. It's the dice that matters, not how we get there. So that is a 6 light. They may include your light die's result when considering their overall success. But if your light die matches any of the dark dice in the roll, which it doesn't, you would mark run ruin. Blah 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 blah. Cool. That's a full success on a light die, no ruin increase. That's the first time I've seen a help roll work. Fantastic. Then I go back to the risk roll on a 6. On a 6, you succeed. Describe how, or ask the GM to describe it. So we've gotten Tuvo's assistance here, you're getting dwarf tossed.
Hmm.
Asta, would you like to narrate this, or would you like me to?
I can narrate it.
Cool. Go for
So
it.
yeah, like he like tosses her, and so she like kind of like lands, and then just like takes off super fast, and like she sort of sees like this puddle of like something nasty, so she like uses her halberd to like vault over that, and then finally like onto the cairn.
And I'm assuming as part of that, you are uncovering the stones. Yeah,
Yeah, and then
yeah.
now she's gonna be like kind of like, no, we've got she's been hanging out, like yeah, so she's definitely now, and then she's starting to like pull the stones away and see what's underneath.
Um, sure. So you move these stones aside,
Mm-hmm.
and buried under the stones is not a mummy, um, but a corpse. Someone very, very, very well, dead, at least at first appearances. Um, you don't get a good look at them just because of like lighting and shading, but you can definitely make out like their arms pale, pale like the pallid of death. Um, and they are curled in a fetal position around a sword in a leather scabbard. The pommel has uh, gemstones in it that even just in a couple seconds glance, you're a jewel thief, you can pawn those suckers off for a gold.
All right.
Um,
Yeah, no, like I apologize to the corpse. Like, sorry, sir, but you don't need this anymore. And am gonna reach in there for the sword.
and you get grabbed. Um, you reach down and a cold, icy hand grasps onto yours. And coming up out of the grave is a Medusa. Her snakes, uh, her snakes that were just like hanging limp, like around her shoulders and chest, like they rise up around you, and like yeah, and she opens her mouth and hisses, but more importantly, you get a very quick look at her unbound eyes. If you do nothing, you're going to be turned to stone. What do you
Okay.
do?
So I know Medusas. I know, so like I'm going to. Do I have the sword in my hand yet?
I can, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Let's say, yeah. You grab the sword and pulled it out. However,
Mm-hmm.
when wait, did you yeah? Do you think you just have the whole like the scabbard and the sword, or do you think you like yanked the sword out of the scabbard?
I could go either way. I could see like yanking it out of the scabbard.
Let's say let's say like you went to grab it, the arm grabbed onto yours, and when you yanked your hand back, you now have this sword in your hand. Unfortunately, the sword is rusted through. The sword is functionally, combatively useless. The
For sure.
gemstones are worth one gold,
Mm-hmm.
but the sword itself is not going to be doing any trouble.
All right. So like I'm gonna like close. So I've got the scarf. I'm gonna like pull that over my face and like turn tail and just try to run, like book it out of there.
You're gonna run. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. I think this is gonna be another risk roll.
Yep.
Um, Or I'll tell you this, we can either go through the whole risk roll process again, or if you just want to flee, I can say you get away with the treasure, with the sword, but you
Mm-hmm.
will take a condition where you are beginning to petrify,
I love that. Yeah.
partially petrified.
Mm-hmm.
You good with that?
Yeah.
Cool. Then add the add a rusted sword with gemstones to your found equipment. It is worth 1 gold. You can notate that however you wish. And then give yourself the condition partially petrified. Do you want me to describe what part of you gets petrified, or would you like somebody else to, or would you like to describe it yourself?
Um, I would be up for somebody else deciding what gets petrified.
Um, Raga, what part of Asta has become petrified?
I feel like uh, I really want to say like Asta's hand or arm would be petrified, like the one that reached in to grab the blade, like the pommel initially. Like that feels the most thematically correct.
I love it.
But I also don't want to like make it so you don't have a hand for the whole game.
She's got 2 of them. It'll be fine.
Okay.
I just need to let you know we have 4 sessions, and that is a hell of a complication that I'm definitely be invoking Dark Die on. But if you're cool with that,
I'm cool with that. Yeah.
cool. So yeah, partially petrified. And was that your dominant hand? I mean, we could say Asta is ambidextrous.
Yeah, I feel like she is not left-handed. No, but yeah, she
All right.
yeah, no, I think it's not her dominant hand, but like maybe she's like kind of holding on and reaching in and yeah, but
Wait, so it's not her dominant hand?
yeah, not her dominant hand.
Okay, yeah, you're reaching with the offhand. Got it. So yeah, partially take a condition, partially petrified, or petrified offhand,
Okay.
whichever one works. And also like I feel like when you get back across the peat, you are spitting up pebbles. Your saliva has actually begun to
Amazing.
calcify.
Yes.
Just to add a another little detail to that. And for everyone else, there is a Medusa who has angrily climbed out of this peat bog. And when I think from this distance, I don't know if Medusa the gaze has a range in D&D. I don't really care. I'm gonna say she's far enough out that like, yeah, if you stare into her eyes, it's kind of like looking at the sun. You'll probably do some permanent damage, but you'd have to actually like be staring at her, making eye contact with her for a period of time. And she's not crossing the peat bog, at least not yet. But she is about 6'4". Yeah, she's a little over 6 feet. She is tall and not lithe, but more like lanky. She's pale as a corpse would suggest, and her snakes are likewise a sort of alabaster white. And she looks as though she was buried in like just a sort of shift. But yeah, she opens her mouth and you see those, fangs, and she's like hissing furiously at you. What do y'all do?
Um, Theta has the ritual germinate, which makes plants grow super fast. Can she make plants grow super fast up from the ground and like tangle the Medusa and hold her in place so that she can't get any closer?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, that'll be a ritual, which is a risk roll. Now this is a ritual, but I think you have time to actually do this to pull this ritual off. Um, I'm a little curious. Have we? You've done the germinate ritual before, right? You did it in Huntsman's Manor.
I did do it then. It has been a while.
Okay. Then for the sake of newness and whatever, rituals and trophy are of course like dark magic or corrupted, because they bring with you that risk of increasing your ruin. Um, so think about that. I'm not going to have you narrate yet. Let's talk about the dice first.
Okay.
So again, you get one light die if you have skills or equipment that would give you your first light die. Plants obviously seems to make the most sense. Well, actually, sorry. Let me go back a bit. What you hope will happen here? Well, you tell me. What do you hope will happen here?
I hope that the plants will tangle the Medusa such that the Medusa cannot follow us and we can get away sort of, I
Fantastic.
mean, as cleanly as possible at this point.
Cool. What could go wrong here? Everybody. Uh, she has counterspell. Is uh is I don't know, something that I can um that's not the most interesting thing I think
Oh,
that could go
the
wrong here.
plants turn to stone and crumble.
Ooh.
She turns to mist to evade.
Oh shit. Um I think what could go wrong here is in order to cast this ritual, you have to be looking at her. And if you look at her for too long, you're going to turn to stone.
Okay.
Yeah, there's some fun stuff that could happen there. Cool. So yeah, you get your first light die. You definitely have skills that apply here. Are you interested in hearing a devil's bargain?
Sure, absolutely.
Cool. Guys, let's what do we got?
She tries to follow us later.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. Um, yeah, she catches your scent.
Yeah, that's a fun one.
No matter what, is it Avash?
Yeah.
Avash is the twister
Yeah.
of roots.
Yeah.
No matter what, Avash hears you. I don't know what that means, but I mean, it sounds like a narrative complication. Um, I really, I do like the idea that she's going to follow you, although that might just happen anyways. God knows. Um, but if you accept a devil's bargain, then she will. Um,
Okay. Yeah, let's go with that. No matter what, eventually at some point she will catch up to us.
Fantastic. I love it. Cool. So there's your devil's bargain. This is a ritual, so you do have a dark die no matter what.
Okay.
And I don't think you have any conditions. So give me a risk roll, 2 light, 1 dark. Let's roll them bones.
Okay.
Well, well, well. That is a 6 dark. So there's a couple interesting things here. Dark die is highest, can't be re-rolled. No one can really help you here because even if they did get a 6 light, the rules of the forest state that on a tie, dark die win all ties. So even on a 6 light, the dark die would still apply here. The good news is that's a full success. You get to narrate it, or I can narrate it for you, but your ruin will increase by 1. And so, Aggie, do you want to narrate this, or would you like me to?
Um, I can give it a go.
Absolutely, go for it.
So, so Theta starts sort of mumbling stuff and sort of taking brief glances at the Medusa, and so these twisty, thorny vines come up from the ground and twine around the Medusa, arms, legs, trunk of the body, uh, lots of vines, and hold, seem to be holding her in place. And Theta gets a nosebleed.
Yeah, go ahead and increase your ruin by 1. Um, and it seems to hold for now. In fact, it holds better than maybe you even thought. I don't know. Maybe not. Um, but yeah, she's held in place and she is hissing. I'll even add in there because some suggestions about vampire lore were brought out. I think she begins to turn to mist. Like you watch her hand kind of slowly start to dissipate, but a thorn pierces into her hand and she immediately like recoalesces. Something about this magic um fully binds her in place and prevents her from changing forms. You still have an angry Medusa some 30 yards out in the middle of a boiling pool of superheated peat, but y'all are free to do what you need to for now. You still have to find your way to Caramel.
And Theta mutters, "That is the worst dirt ever." Okay, where do we go next that is not where the Medusa is?
Okay. I'm gonna look at like no, and I'm totally like just looking at this the sword and like counting jewels and stuff like that. Um, but um we've got like this cart to the side, and I'm gonna look at Tuvo and be like, Tuvo, can you get that working again? And I'm gonna like point at the dead ox.
I believe that I can. Are you all right?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, you think a way going to help us get there faster?
It's not a bad idea. Does the cart seem to be intact?
Let me check. The cart. It seems to be intact enough to be a set piece. I'll say that. Some distance off the road is a half burnt 4-wheeled ox drawn cart. So it is half burnt. Uh, but it sounded like Asta was not talking about the cart.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Well, I was asking, was the ox still hooked up? Because I mean, it can
Oh,
function as a cart or a sled.
yes. The partially burnt ox corpse is still harnessed.
Cool. Yeah. Okay. Yep. We're gonna go ghoul.
You're gonna reanimate this. All right. Cool. Fantastic.
While this vampire Medusa gnashes and thrashes, it's just a stone's throw away.
I mean, you have to be pretty good at throwing stones, but yeah, sure. I mean, she is close, but yeah, cool. This will be a risk roll because you're using a ritual. What do you hope will happen here?
I hope to animate the ox under my control to be able to pull the cart for us to overcome some of this terrain obstacles.
Okay, cool. Yeah, sounds good. Guys, what could go wrong here?
The ox could freak out.
Yeah. Uh,
It takes the Medusa side.
Yeah. It's not actually an ox, it's her pet Gorgon.
Oh my God. That'd be interesting devil's bargain. Uh, uh, let's see what else. It needs some of your life, uh, to actually that might be a good devil's bargain. Um, but you know, part of you has to go down into Delure to get it back, and part of you doesn't all come back. Um, or none of you come back, if we're talking real bad. Um, oh, actually, anytime you use magic, my friend, you're connected to the Citadel. Now, here's the thing. Here's what I'll say is it's not like Wellsload where you are in the same geographical area as the Citadel. You're on the other side of Bastion and like several days away. So I don't think, but still they could hear you. And again, that might be a good devil's bargain too. I don't know. I've got more good devil's bargains than what could go wrong here. Um, uh, 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 uh. Yeah, I like the idea that just like it comes to life and is just either entirely unhelpful or uh hostile.
Yeah.
Or you get the attention of other scary things. Oh, you don't just animate the ox, you animate other dead things, and they're going to be hostile. There we go. Cool. Are you interested in hearing devil's bargains?
Always.
Cool. I'm going to put out there that the Citadel hears you. Wait,
No matter what, when the ox, if the ox is revived, the ox is actively on fire.
Well, see your ex shows up. But
oh, well, no, I mean, so good devil's bargains do invoke drives. Uh, so is there something we can do here with Heather Top? That isn't, I mean, uh, also though, I mean, if you want to sit there and say, yeah, uh,
oh,
girlfriend shows up, that could be a thing.
I was gonna say there is some sort of connection to or evidence of something Heathertop related on the wagon.
Hmm.
Like maybe there's something in the wagon that is problematic and it's from Heathertop.
No matter what, the ox being reanimated acts as a beacon to the Medusa, helping it find us.
Oh,
Like a necromantic tether.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's fun.
cool. Do you want to go with that?
I like that
Cool.
because it's a tool, but it's a tool that could bite
Cool.
us later.
Give yourself the condition necromantic tether. And now let's talk dice. Do you have a skill or equipment that would give you your first light die?
Just if the ritual
The
dagger
ritual
counts.
itself. Oh, the ritual. Do you have a ritual dagger?
My
Oh,
curved
your
ritual knife.
curved ritual knife. Yeah. I mean, you pay burdens on it. I'll let it apply. As long as you narrate it, work it into your narration, sure.
Yep.
Cool. You get one light die. You're accepting the devil's bargain, so you get a second light die. You're using a ritual, so it's a dark die. You have a Mabaran heart.
I do.
I'm gonna give you a second dark die.
have-
You have a better chance of succeeding, but your ruin is there's a good chance it'll go up. So give me a risk roll, 2 light, 2 dark, please. Cool. So that is a 4 light. That is currently a success with a complication. Couple things here. You can add a dark die and reroll. You can ask for help from another player. That's kind of it. I should let you know. So here's the thing: is I can give you a complication, but on a 4, either I give you the complication and you narrate, or you give me a complication and I narrate. So we should probably lock in what that is. Lock in whether or not you're going to accept the dice roll before we start talking about complications. But there will be one, unless you add a dark die and reroll or accept help. Well, I guess I should ask, is anybody willing to help? Tuvo do some dark magic.
If it was Asa's idea in the first place, she probably owes him some help.
Cool. Tuvo, will you accept help?
I will accept help.
Okay. And again, just so you know, the mechanics of the help roll, if your light die matches any of the dark die rolled, you will take 1 ruin. But Tuvo can also re-roll. So, if you want to help, tell me how you're exposing yourself to danger and roll 1 light die.
I mean, I think like she doesn't know anything about necromancy other than just hanging out with Tuvo. And so like helping with the ritual, like holding whatever ritual thing or whatever while he does it. Like I imagine her like anyways. Like she's sensitive to like necromantic energies. And actually she might even like become more and she's already got necromancy problems, or vampire problems. So yeah.
Yes. So yeah, are you just like opening your heart to the darkness? How are
Let's
you exposing
do
yourself
that.
to
I
danger?
love that. I love opening my heart to the darkness. That's exactly it.
Cool. Yeah, and maybe that takes the form of like some either like chanting, maybe some stuff about you do have a dead spirit that's been palling around with you.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So yeah. Cool. Roll your 1 die.
Okay.
There is a help option, but however you roll 1 light die, makes no difference to me.
Oh god. That's
So
a
it's
1.
a 1. Cool. So Tuvo, your situation still stands. You can re-roll. You will be adding a dark die and re-rolling. Doing so would put Asta at danger. But that's the whole point of the risk roll.
I think I'll keep it, and if that's a complication, I think I'll keep the complication.
Cool. So on a 4, you succeed, but there is a complication. The GM describes the complication, and then you describe how you succeed, or vice versa. So, do you want me to describe the complication and you narrate your success, or do you want to tell me what the complication is and I will narrate the success?
I can narrate the complication.
Sure. What is the complication?
So the complication is that necromantic tether and Mabaran heart, because Mabaran necromancy feeds on life, is that, yeah, that's exactly what it is. This is borrowed life, and Tuvo is starting to get a hunger.
Oh. So it sounds like you're going to be taking the condition, the hunger.
Sure.
Give yourself the condition, the hunger. Um, and I narrate your success then. You is it just like a cutting yourself with the ritual dagger? Is it the
Yeah,
pulpy?
it's yeah, life for life, sprinkling blood from his palm across the body.
Okay, so yeah, I should point out when you get close to the ox body, you notice there is also a person body nearby as well. Um,
I could have had two people pulling this cart.
I know. I think just because it's new information, I'll add the detail that like that body has been burned to a point of like they're not going to be terribly useful functionally, not in the way an ox will be. Um, but yeah, you feel this the darkness. You feel the darkness. um oh my god, that's the most emo thing I'm gonna say all year. You feel that like that dark pit deep inside your chest that pulls on Mabaran energy. um and like icy chill just like passes through your body. And I think when you drip your blood on this ox, unlike a lot of normal pulpy magic that where it would sort of like fizzle and puff into smoke, this does the opposite. It actually sort of like freezes and forms this sort of like icy rime um on on the ox, which then you watch its eyes flare open, its dead milky white nose sclera eyes open, and it rises up onto its hooves, and awaits your command. You wanted it to get you like through some of this terrain, right? So I think yeah, it starts to move towards the fires.
Cool.
um is it an all aboard the cart kind of deal?
And I think we all like jump in the wagon and then fight over what we're gonna name the ox.
Tuvo votes hell cow.
I'm gonna say that between all of your rolling so far, um so it's barreling towards the fires. How does this are you just gonna like charge it headlong into the flames, ride through hell?
That seems a better option than slowly walking through the fire.
Cool. um so yeah, the four of you pile into this ox cart, and it's just going to go charging, and it's dead. It has no bodily fear or autonomy. um Somebody needs to take a risk roll for the four of you. Somebody needs to sort of like, there's no group actions in this game, but somebody needs to be put at risk for the fires. And I think Theoban, you haven't had a chance yet to really like shine and strut your stuff. So what do you do to keep yourself and the group safe as you go barreling into full on wildfire on a cart, a half burned cart being dragged by an undead ox?
So I think Theoban is going to, as he sees we're getting closer and closer to the flames, he will, um, take that, um, and I will go ahead and use, I will go ahead and use my quantum space here to add an extra
Actually,
where
pause really quickly. While Tuvo is doing this ritual, does anybody else want to do anything? Because I feel like once we succeed at this, once we not succeed, once we deal with this role and resolution, we're going to move on to the next set, and it might be hard to come back to this one. Does anybody else want to do anything while Tuvo is casting this ritual? Theoban and Theda, particularly because it sounds like Asta was helping, but Asta also, if you want to if there's something else you wanted to do or someplace else you wanted to explore. I said there was that humanoid corpse as well. There's the cottage. I don't think you have enough time to really deeply explore the cottage.
yeah.
But there's also there's also an angry Medusa there too. Medusa vampiress.
Yeah. Um I mean I'll go ahead and look at the humanoid corpse.
Sure. Cool. Are you doing anything other than just like, poking at it, looking for loot?
I think at this moment it's just poking at it looking for loot.
Cool. Do you have any this will be a hunt roll. Do you have any skills or equipment that would uh help you like with bodily investigation or
At this moment in time, I don't think so. I could argue focus because he's focusing on not burning to death. Um, but no, I don't really think that there would be an extra.
I will let you use focus if you tell me
Okay.
what is at risk of distracting you.
I think what's at risk of distracting him is it would be Tuvo's spell.
Okay. I'll
Yeah.
buy it. Yeah, there's something hypnotic about Tuvo's voice because Mabar is the domain of things like succubi. There's the call of the void, Le Pile de Vie. Yeah, there's something hypnotic and seductive about Tuvo's magic. Um, so yeah, go ahead and give me a 2 die hunt roll, please.
Okay. 6.
6 light, you get a token and do not encounter something terrible. Your objective answer is that uh, on the body is a pouch of still usable spices and a simple skeleton key. The simple skeleton key is not really worth anything by itself. Like you can't really sell. Well, it is a skeleton key. Um, Between the two of those, though, yeah, those are. It's worth 1 gold for the two of them. Cool.
Okay, cool.
And now we go back to we snap back forward in time to where what are you doing now to shield yourself and your buddies?
So I think that Theoban is going to, see as we're quickly approaching a wall of flames, and he'll kind of uncork his water skin and like pull the little wool blanket over Pastuche and kind of douse it with some water and just kind of sprinkle water over top of everybody. Um, him being um the last person to be doused as probably not facing the flames, unsure how long he has to make sure that everyone is wet enough that the steam will evaporate before their skin starts to burn.
Cool. All right. So this definitely sounds like a risk roll. What you're hoping, sorry, in what do you hope to accomplish?
I hope to accomplish everyone getting wet enough that we don't burn up.
Cool. Um, Guys, what could go wrong here?
We burn up.
specifically, the narrative camera is focused on Theoban right now. So, yes, but Theoban's the one who is really at risk here.
Theoban gets the least amount of water on him, and so he's more affected by the heat than anybody else.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's pretty simple. It's burning. The answer is burning. Um, cool. Anything else could go wrong here though? Uh, I think you could like something on your person, like you could lose equipment. I think like grease tends to burn pretty
Yeah,
easily.
probably should have left that at
Um,
home, but you never know when you need some grease.
yeah. Uh, Also like wool is pretty good at insulation. But it burns just like anything else if exposed to enough heat.
Exactly.
So yeah, okay. Um, uh, uh, your meme game is on point. Uh, you're using your water skin.
Yeah, I'm gonna use that
Um,
water skin.
so that gives you your first light die because you're using equipment. Uh, let's talk devil. Are you interested in hearing a devil's bargain?
Absolutely, I'm interested in hearing devil's bargains.
Fantastic. Oh, also, I should say, because it is players guiding the role, you can also specify if you want to hear devil's bargains from everyone. You could also pick out a certain player, including myself or somebody else, if you want to be like, hey, Jared, give me a devil's bargain. But if you want to leave it open to everyone, that is your call as well.
I'll leave it open to everyone for now.
Cool. Um, yeah, what do we got, guys? Hmm.
No matter what, once we get through the fire, the cart is unusable.
It's a good one.
Yeah, yeah.
No matter what, this charging through fire plants a little firebug in Theoban.
Theoban's got a lot of bugs in him.
No matter what, charging through fire plants a little firebud in Pastuche.
No matter what, uh, you have the hum ritual, right?
Yeah.
No matter what, you will hear the screams of 10,000 dying bees.
Ooh, that one's horrific.
I think that would take place like or take the form of a condition, I think.
I feel like I like that one because it's not just bees, it's any inhuman intelligence, and I feel like that's definitely affecting him. I feel I'm gonna take that one. I'm gonna take
Cool.
no matter what he can hear the screams of the dying animals around him. I really love that.
Yeah, yeah. But I think yeah,
Specifically the bees, but yeah.
specifically the bees, yeah. Because I think the way the condition uh yeah, I just like the evocativeness of like the scream, a condition called like the scream of 10,000 bees. Um
The
so take
opposite
that
of
as
the Owl City song.
I was thinking that too.
they're not going to be teaching you how to dance. Fantastic. So that's too late. Would you say you are risking? Sorry. Would you say you're risking mind and or soul, or body and soul?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. So that's going to be too light. Let me check you for conditions. I don't think you. You are best friends with the
I'm
bees.
best friends with the bees. I feel like that's a second dark die.
It's going to be a second dark die. Give me a too light, too
Oh.
dark.
That is a 6 light.
The beautiful thing about trophy is that like because your dice pool is bigger, like you have a better chance of a success, a full success. It's somehow like the best friends of the bees and hearing their dying screams like gives you that like extra oomph. Or at least that's the way it plays out in my head.
Absolutely. It gives him more urgency, like,
Yeah.
oh God, all those bees are dying. Oh God, we're gonna die.
So on a success, you get to narrate it, or if you want me to, I can narrate it for you. Which would you prefer?
I can narrate it.
Awesome. This is going to be what gets you like through. So the next time we meet these characters, we'll be like on the outskirts of Karamah. So, but go take it away. Give us the whole scene.
So Theoban, as everybody starts to kind of hunker down, he sees the wall, the oncoming wall of burning vegetation that they're about to break through, and immediately he grabs his water skin and begins to spray everyone down with as much water as he can. And then in the back of his mind, he can feel them, he can hear them, the bees of the forest crying, calling out in pain and panic. Their queens are dying. They are without direction. They're burning. Their homes are gone. And that sets into Theoban a moment of panic as he looks at his friends and he thinks their queen is gone. They're going to die. Their queen is gone. She's not with us anymore. They're going to die. And he just at the last moment, as they break through the vegetation, he pulls his cloak over and quickly sprays down his back um, every couple of minutes, emptying his water skin even more to make sure that everybody makes through it okay. The thoughts in his head still going out to all of those screams, all of those cries that he can hear that no one else can. And he tightens an arm around Pastuche, just thinking about how he needs to keep everyone alive.
And I'd love a few words from everyone about just like what you do to keep yourself safe and shielded from the flames as everything turns to darkness, black smoke, and crimson. You're going to be submerged in fire for longer than you know. On a meta level, you know you'll get through, but your characters don't. But how do you survive and succeed?
I think I'm gonna get down like low in the wagon. And maybe like kind of thinking the idea that like the air down there will be a little better. And the wagon can kind of protect me a little too from stuff.
Uh, Theda's got her heat repellent coat pulled up over her head, and she's got like two or three of the oxygen purifying flowers right in her face.
Tuvo, rather than leaning down behind the board for the cart, he's leaning down, kind of in the vicinity as close as he can without falling off of the cart to the ox with the necromantic tether and pushing through with that.
And just when you think your lungs are going to give out and the fire will start to collapse in on you, you break out into not the cleanest air in the world, but all of a sudden you feel, even though it's still incredibly hot air compared to what you just went through, it feels chilly and fresh on your faces as you break through the wildfires into the foothills of the town of Kermaw. Let's take it's 30 past the hour. Let's take a good like 7-minute break, come back at about 37, 38, somewhere in that ballpark. All right, see you guys there. Kermaw village. The village of Kermaw is built into a narrow switchbacking area on the lowest foothills below Kermaw Castle. Built of stone and stucco, the buildings of Kermaw are intact but soot blackened. The air is heavy with clouds of smoke, and in places, embers of burning wood litter the narrow streets. Your set goal here: learn what preparations the Kermaw people were making. Again, these are things we know about. Your characters don't know that the people of Kermaw were making any kind of preparations. Hopefully, together, we will find that out in the story. But Kermaw Castle looms way up overhead. We find you out. You have access to as much of the village as you theoretically need, including stuff that I don't describe here. But the first thing that greets you, I think, is the smell of burnt bread. When you come crashing through, and Tuvo's spell finally shatters and loses its vigor, the ox kind of like collapses and skids to a stop, and maybe a few of you are thrown from the cart. Nothing more than superficial bumps and scratches. But when you gather yourself up, yeah, that's the first thing you smell is charred and rotting bread. There's an oven nearby next to a windmill, what was once a bakery. But I think the wood structure of the bakery has been entirely gutted out, but you can still actually see the oven burning. But rather than see it, there's just this oppressive stink of burnt bread and the unrelenting clunking of the mill's broken shaft turning. Nearby, there is a building with large stable doors that are blown open. From outside, you can kind of see that there are some tools inside. It looks to be there's an anvil on the inside, suggesting that it's a blacksmith. There is a single room chapel that appears mostly intact. Might be some stuff worth looking for in there. And every good town has a tavern, and this one is no different. You can recognize such a building, probably 2 stories, like every fantasy tavern on under the face of the sun. It is not a Gold Dragon Inn. The old painted sign for this tavern is faded, chipped, and can't really be made out, but just the way that it's hanging, and you've all seen taverns before, this is very much a tavern. But those are the areas that I will give you to go looking at, but feel free to go or do wherever, or if you want to just hang out and chat, let me know. turn it over to you.
I feel like Theoban would gravitate toward the tavern. He'd probably like grab on to either Asta or Tuvo's like sleeve and be like, "We should go in there. That's where most people do meetings and things. That would be a good place to start, gathering information."
Not a bad idea. We can see what they were doing beforehand.
Got two headed to the tavern.
Yeah.
Asta and Theta, any ideas? Or also, if you want some time, let me know.
Asta's gonna kind of look to Theta and be like, I feel like chapels usually have good stuff in them.
Oh, yeah, that makes total sense. Let's go look at that then.
I vaguely remember a scene of Asta Mission Impossibling in the Crimson Monastery to get treasure.
Yeah, I do remember that.
So, I mean, that's the Crimson Monastery. This is
Mhm.
not that. Also, I got to do some really quick conversions to, like, this is a chapel to, it would be the sovereigns. I don't know if it's to a specific sovereign yet. Um, uh, uh, um, yeah, let's have some fun with it. So we have Asta and Theta headed to the chapel, and Tuvo and Theoban headed to the tavern. Let's start with we just got some wonderful rolling and stuff from Theoban. So let's go with Asta and Theta into this chapel and learn more about it. One side wall has a wide, shallow fireplace with an open trapdoor into as you like go up and look into it, you'd see it's an hash pit. Um, and then along the wall, farthest from the entrance, is an altar. The altar contains a bronze statue, half the size of a human. So I'm going to say sovereign of the hearth is Boldre, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're just going to say this is a chapel to Boldre, and you actually see a bronze statue to Boldre, or depicting Boldre. Um, and yeah, I don't remember any of like what would she be holding on to that's like you instantly know it's Boldre. Sheaf of wheat would be ROI. Uh,
Swaddling clothes.
Fantastic. Yeah. Um, so yeah, she's holding on to swaddling clothes, and so yeah, you instantly recognize her as Boldre. Um, yeah, what do you guys do once you're inside?
Uh, Theda's totally going over to the ash pit to see if she can find any of those like spores for the plants.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. Um,
But she doesn't explain any of this to Asta, so she just goes around and immediately enthusiastically starts just like digging around in the dirt.
I feel like Asta understands this like deeply.
the the dwarven desire to just dig a hole.
Well, and that and just like, I'm just gonna run and do something. You know what? Yeah, this is our whole job is to run places and look around in them.
That's true. Yeah, yeah. You are here looking for explicitly. You are looking for a treasure.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I
yeah,
think she's looking in maybe not the right place for the treasure, but that's more treasure for me in the better places.
right. Exactly. So, Theta, do you have any skills or equipment that would help you with your search?
Let's see. Skills being I have perception and I have plants both.
Fantastic. Somewhere between them. So you get one light die for simply asking questions about the world or pursuing your goals, and you get a second light die. So give me a 2 die hunt roll, please.
Okay.
You got through that whole first set with like one hunt roll, two hunt rolls maybe. Fantastic. That's a 5. So you do get a hunt token. Go ahead and add that to your sheet. But also you encounter something terrible. Um, you're something terrible. Well, let me give you the objective. The answer to your question. Um, you were looking for those flower spores.
Hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm gonna start a clock. Old BITD clock. I'm gonna make it only 4 sections, but I'm gonna give you one of them for this. You find some spores. Um, when you fill up this clock, I will give you that. I will give you enough. If you don't like find just um, a whole pile of them, like a specifically a collection. Um, so you find some. How do you identify them? Like what do they either look like or maybe smell like? But how do you know this is it? This is
Hmm. They they smell they smell like burnt popcorn, but they're tiny and a bit shiny. So they don't look like popcorn.
smell like popcorn. Amazing. Um, as you go digging through this ash, you come across a hand. It's just dead bodies everywhere. Welcome to Trophy. Um, uh, and with a little more digging, this one doesn't grab you. It's not alive, or it's not undead. Um, but with a little more digging, you unearth, unash the recently deceased body of a priestess um, wearing traveling clothes. Uh, she seems to have died. Um, there's no visible like wounds or scarring on her body. But in her arms, clutched in her arms. So this is a priestess of Boldre. So she's holding something that she's swaddling. But when you unwrap the swaddle, it's not a small child, it is a book.
Can I read the title?
Um,
Or is it too burnt for that?
you can read the title. It's not actually on the cover, but on the inside, uh, you read the words. Let me find it. The Larsenon Codex, and I will put that in the chat. Or the Larsenon Codex. Um, however, You also see stuffed into this book pages that are not part of the book itself, but somebody actually just shoved them into the book. You see, well, if you flip to the end, they sort of fall out the back. It's a note, and it reads as follows: I have delivered several large crystals of sky metal to Bryn. Hopefully, he can blend them into suitable weapons to kill her. If this doesn't work, we may remain under her yoke until the end of days. I'll post that in the chat. Asta, meanwhile, it's going to take some time for Theda to read all of this. What do you get up to in here?
I'm gonna go for the altar, like immediately. Just we've yeah, looted a few churches along the way. Like, am going for the altar, and yeah, gonna be kind of looking around for anything that seems useful or yeah,
Yeah.
interesting.
Do you have any skills that would give you a second light die in this hunt roll?
Let's see. Magnifying glass.
Sure, I'll buy it.
All right.
2 die. Go ahead and give me 2 die hunt roll, please.
Okay. Five.
Cool. You get a hunt token. You also encounter something terrible.
And I have one hunt token. Was that was that a glitch? Or was that from something else?
What was that from? Did you roll hunt at all so far? Was this your first hunt roll?
In my first one, I had a hunt token going in. Is it just like we forgot to clear everything out?
We might have forgot to clear everything out then.
All right, so I have
So
one.
you have one hunt token.
Yay!
Or did I wait? Did I give you a hunt token because of your scene with the red rose at the end of the last incursion?
That's what it was. You were given an extra hunt token for this hunt after your stuff with the red rose after, like, between hunts.
Yeah, because you did roll some dice.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, you got to start with one for this excursion.
So yeah, now you have 2.
Yay!
Yeah, because hunt rolls, they're a meta narrative currency. They're your narrative effects. So, yeah.
Right.
Fantastic. Oh, wait a second. Did I? Okay, yeah. Theda's ruin did go up. Okay, cool. Yeah, I thought somebody rolled a dark die that the ruin would increase. Anyways, got sidetracked. So you're just like looking for, yeah, you're doing the adventure check for hidden chambers and stuff, right? So the unfortunate news is the statue itself probably worth 1 gold. However, it is heavy. But there are, so far as you can tell, no trap doors or anything. Well, no hidden chambers or anything in this altar. It appears to be just a relatively simple straightforward altar to Boldre. You're something terrible. Ooh. You hear the sound of a door slamming. Not the door to the chapel you're in, but like maybe one building over. It's just the wind, right?
It's definitely just the wind. It's been windy lately.
Has been windy lately. Let's get over to Tuvo and Theoban over at the tavern. Um, Simple building, cozy, several large fireplaces, heavy tables and chairs. Um, there's stairs going up to a second floor gallery, and then from there, a ladder probably going up into the attic. Um, you can assume there's a root cellar. Um, if it's like every other tavern, it's probably behind the bar. Any place particular you guys want to explore here inside the tavern?
I think that Theoban will start probably in the root cellar or wine cellar, because if he was gonna hide something, he'd hide it underground.
Sure. What about you,
Tuvo
Tuvo?
Tuvo is going to do the thing of sliding over the bar and then start raiding the bar.
Fantastic. Um, let's start with you, Tuvo. It sounds like you're looking for either like what are you hoping to find?
The cash box, or barring that, expensive liquor.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Do you have a skill or equipment that would help you here?
Um, just appraisal.
Yeah, I was gonna say appraisal. If you're looking through the the fine liqueurs of Kerma. Um, yeah, go ahead and give me a 2 die hunt roll, please.
Okay. Cool. 2 and a 1.
Buddy, your hunt rolls. You get no hunt token, and you do encounter something terrible. Um, and it's probably going to be pretty dangerous. We'll come back to that. Meanwhile, Theoban, you're headed down into the basement. Yes.
Yes.
The root cellar. So behind the bar, you have to go behind the bar into the kitchen, and there you see the stairs going down. But that's easy enough to find. So we see you down in the root cellar. The publican's cottage is also down here. The root cellar stores some half barrels of foodstuffs and beer, unspoiled. There is a door locked by a heavy iron padlock blocking access.
I mean, I'm no lockpick, but
So no one's going to tell on you if you break the lock.
I mean, I've got some grease. I could maybe grease up the pins and just get it off of there.
Sure. Um, is failure interesting here? Uh, I'm not going to say this is a risk roll yet, but what could go wrong here? I mean, I feel like you get discovered, there's other stuff in here. Um,
The good old Kondarak alarm spells.
oh, I like that. Yeah, let's make this a risk roll.
Okay.
Um, you have your grease. That'll give
Mhm.
you your first light die. I don't think you're risking mind or body here. Not yet. Um, would you like to entertain a devil's bargain?
I would like to enter. I'd like to hear what everybody has for Devil's Bargains.
Sure. And just to put it on the table, what we're deciding here is not necessarily whether or not you succeed. I think you're no matter what you're going to succeed. You have plenty of time and you have the tools necessary to do the job. What is at risk here is are there magical defenses that you are not prepared for?
Yeah.
And uh,
What could happen with that?
yeah, so a devil's bargain should not be no matter what there is a Kundarak spell.
Yeah.
I guess that's where I was going with that line of thinking. But we can do other things. Hmm.
I mean, since Jared is specifically going to have something terrible happen to him, Jared, do you have any Devil's Bargains in mind?
Yeah, because it can't negate the success, which is just the objective that you're going for is just popping the
Getting through the
lock,
door.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Um,
Um, um, um, um. Oh, actually, hmm. Um, sorry, pause for a second. You have a skeleton key.
ooh.
I do have that skeleton key.
Um,
I mean, I'll try the skeleton key first before I try any grace or anything. That
yeah,
just makes sense.
let's go with that. Um, it works,
Oh,
surprisingly.
yeah.
Uh, the skeleton key goes right in, pops open. Um, and inside is a table with several chairs. Um, there are chalk drawings on the walls that depict the layout of a castle, Castle Kermaw, by reasonable inference. Um, and there are some locations at corners or points that are likely to be load bearing, and they are marked with X's. Uh, there are some what look like somebody is depicting firing arcs from the doors and windows that have been plotted out. Ground level entrances are circled. And then, last but not least, on the table is a small chunk of an unusual silver crystal and a large skeleton key. You may go ahead and just add the unusual silver crystal and a large skeleton key uh, to your inventory. Um, as for Tuvo, while Theoban is downstairs, uh, maybe it's just a shifting of the wind, but the black smoke comes up against the windows and a couple embers pass by and the embers like stop in the window and they look very much like angry eyes. They're looking for you. That icy cold beat of your heart is pulling in their direction. And then a few seconds pass, and the smoke clears and the embers with them. What do you do?
Two is definitely going to make a note of that and probably hunker down a little bit more as he continues to go through things. Or maybe make his way towards the basement.
Did you guys close the door behind you?
I want to say no. I want to say we didn't, just in case we needed to make a quick exit.
Yeah, I'm with Tuvo on that. I don't feel like we would have any form of foresight or thought to need to close the door.
Sure. Then in through the doorway, I wasn't planning on bringing her back so quickly, but in through the doorway walks a 6'4" vampiress Medusa. And you watch her eyes, well, the camera will watch her eyes just do like that Terminator sort of like eyes sweep of the room. Tuvo, you're currently back like in the kitchen hiding, but I will point out there's no escape. There's one way to get out from the basement, at least that you guys know of. But yeah, let's shift the camera back over to the chapel. Asta and Theda. Yeah. Asta, are you going to do anything with this bronze statue? Like I said, it's probably worth 1 gold by itself, but it is heavy.
Like, can she carry it? Yeah, is it like observe some like heavy, like we're gonna need help getting it out of here, we think?
Um, I mean, I
Or
think you can probably carry it, but it could cause complications, or it's going to be one of the first things that I say that you lose on like a complication because it's just like
right,
you're gonna have to like
right.
strap it to your back because again, just sort of like size and proportion, you're short for a dwarf. This statue was said to be half the size of a person, which in trophy
Hmm.
there's only humans. Um, so this statue, I think I might make it a little bit easier and say it is like maybe up to your shoulder.
Yeah, yeah. I think I'm gonna leave it because I feel like this feels like it's gonna be cumbersome to carry around, and I also feel like when you are obviously looting the chapel, you have to sneaky loot the chapel. Like when you're obviously looting the chapel, that kind of gets people up in arms.
That is true. It does. Yeah. And people will be coming back to Caramel soonish.
So like I think more like make a mental note. Asa thinks that there will be time maybe to, grab it on the way out of town.
Sure. Yeah.
But like I think she's gonna leave it there.
Cool. Do you guys have anything else you want to do here in the chapel?
I don't think I have anything in particular.
Cool.
Yeah, no, I think yeah. If it looks like we yeah, give it a good look over and call it good. They need to give more money to their chapel. They have more stuff in it.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, uh
Theda doesn't understand the note that she's found, but she is going to share that info with Asta just so that they all have the same
All right.
working
yeah.
info.
I should tell you a little bit more about this book. Well, I'll tell you a little bit more if you want to read more about it. If you want to actually like sit down and parse through it, that would be a hunt roll. Um,
Oh, sure. Why not?
Cool. Do you have any skills? I mean, take a look at your skills. Perception plans. Knowing what I know about this book, I'm actually going to say remedies um, would apply here. So go ahead and give me a
Okay.
2 die hunt roll. I'll either that or like the book itself would give you a second light die on your hunt roll. So yeah, give me a 2 die hunt roll.
Okay. Ooh.
What do we get? A 6. Fantastic. You get a hunt token. Also, yeah, add to your found equipment the Larson and Codex. Um, it is worth 1 gold. Uh, 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 and here is what I can tell you about it. It's an elegant text on the vampiric condition. It was written sometime during the early Galifarian Empire. So YK, like less than 100. First century YK. So it's almost a millennia old. If not before. It is named for Larsena Irwinarn, who is not the writer, but is said to have acquired multiple copies of this text from presumably vampiric scholars who were writing about the vampiric condition in first person. So that is what you get, but you also get that hunt token for doing so well, and you don't encounter anything terrible, which is a
Nice.
shame. Where are you guys off to now? Do you want to go back and catch up with the others? There's the blacksmith you can go and check out. There's also, I should say, there's the other places that I haven't mentioned.
And there was that slamming door.
Oh, there was a slamming door. Yes, there was.
What do you think?
I mean, I feel like I wouldn't mind stopping at the blacksmith.
Makes
If
sense.
yeah.
Could be some good stuff there.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Off to the blacksmith you go. There are only 3 stone walls to this building. The fourth is, like I said, that series of large stable doors, and they're open currently. Or yeah, they are currently open. Everything is what you would expect in a smithy: cold hearth, bellows, anvils, hammers, tools on a rack. In the back of the shop is a mound of coal and a pile of iron. And then underneath or behind that is a waxed canvas tarp covering something.
You want to do this on the count of 3?
All right. All right. So
So
1,
1,
2,
2,
Asta
3.
takes off.
And Theda pulls up the sheet because what the hey?
And
Oh, I see. Yeah.
and you get grabbed by, I'm just kidding.
Oh, this is not our day.
Underneath the tarp is a pile of rough but usable iron and glaives. The shafts are dry pine, usable, cheap, not long lasting, very standard issue military fare to the lowest possible bidder. These are not up to Canna standard. The blades are roughly shaped and will hold an edge but they're too soft to stand up to lengthy service. Um, they're an unrefined iron, but in the forging pattern are swirls of some other material that has a crystalline aspect to it.
I think Theta calls out and is like, "Hey, Asta, it's okay. It's just spears. It's not even anything undead."
All right, all right, all right. So yeah, I'll like kind of creep over and look over the stuff.
Yeah, it is as I described. Does Asta have any skills here? I think you have enough experience with weapons uh to know that like these weren't designed to kill the living.
Okay. Okay. No, that totally makes sense.
Yeah, I'm like starting to piece together the clues that we've been given so far. Um because Theta told you about that note, right?
Right,
Um
right.
so yeah, I've delivered several large crystals of sky metal to Bryn. Hopefully, he can blend them into suitable weapons to kill her. If this doesn't work, we may remain under her yoke until the end of days. So, whatever this sky metal is, it's designed to kill her. Who is she? We'll find out maybe on the next episode of the Smoldering Moor. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-dum. Um, no, that is where we're going to end tonight's session. Let's go ahead and move into stars and wishes. Unless there's something somebody like needs to do before the end of the session. Um, but if not, then just to remind myself, we have uh, Theta is in the basement. Tuvo is in the kitchen. We have a vampire Medusa stalking them in the tavern. Asta and Theta are in the blacksmith and have found sky metal weapons as well as a note about killing her, whoever she is. Um, yeah, cool. Stars and wishes. Stars are things that you liked about the session, the game, other people's role play, favorite moments or montages, whatever you want. Give somebody or give multiple people gold stars for their contribution to what I hope is the fun that you had tonight. And wishes are things that you hope to see. We've got 3 more sessions together. Although, man, we are burning through this one. So you guys need to like actually like dig around and find some treasure. But yeah, things you hope to see in the next like 1 to 3 sessions that we have together. I'll go ahead and start. Like I said, it's my favorite incursion. It continues to be my favorite incursion. Or it's one of my favorites. I really loved. I want to give a star to that, just that cinematic moment of like breaking through the wildfires, leaving that first set, everybody just like hunkered down and like barreling through, and like I could picture it. Like that's something that would be on the TV show, and just everybody's little contributions to that. So I think you all did a fantastic job of narrating those moments. Um, I'm gonna give a star to Asta for like just boldly running across the peat, just being like, "Screw it, we're here." But also, I love that the just like the spring in her step at the beginning, just being like, this is what she does," and I just love the idea that like my favorite vibe is like I don't remember where I saw or heard or read this, but that feeling of like when you're in the tavern, you just want to be out adventuring, and when you're out adventuring, you just want to be back in the tavern. And like if I can ever capture that vibe, and I feel like we've got some of that here, but now I definitely need to put the fear of the sovereigns into to Asta, um,
Yeah.
to get that the other half of that coin
Hmm.
going. So that'll be my wish, is to put the fear of the sovereigns into Asta and get that feeling of I just wish I was anywhere but here. Um, Theoban, the discussion about the Mother of Millions, and just like the evil she's not a bee, she's a queen. Just such incel vibes. It's so good. And then
She's Milady.
oh god, the fedora on that man. Yeah, I just love that little exchange, that moment. um Tuvo, animating the everything with the Mabaran connection stuff. I just love that we are leaning into uh really flavoring the magic to Eberron, and pulling specifically on the bar for the ritual magic was really is really cool. So I loved your narrations and contributions to that. um yeah, and then also like uh just the moment of like sliding across the bar, just like so pulpy, so tropey. I loved it. And Theta, I love just the world building that you brought to this, with what were they called, with the ember flowers. um yeah, ever since I got the herbalists primer at PAX, I've just been like, yes, magical flora, let's fucking go. And so thank you for indulging me. I want to give you a star to all the stuff you've been doing there, and my wish is to find out more about these flowers, or to have them come in a real tangible way. um yeah, and my wish is I gave you guys these fun little sort of like side quests and narrative hooks. I definitely hope to get as many of them involved as we can. I don't know how many of them will get involved. We're just trying stuff, but also feel free with Devil's Bargains to be like, hey, yeah, that's a thing. I'm going to throw it in your path. But you guys have all been great about doing that stuff so far. So that's what I got.
I want to just give a star to everybody for all the sort of buildup of like all the terrible things and all the devil's bargains and all the devil's bargains and everything just building and building and building. Like, that's rad.
I want to give a star to you, Aggie, for just very easily and off the cuff with Theta, to Theoban's very first question when we started of, so what have you been up to while I've been falling in love with a bee queen? Um it was very nice to get that little bit of like touchstone role play in before we jumped into almost burning to death and angering a vampire Medusa. Um, Holly, running into danger twice in one session with Asta is very, very peak. I always love how she's the first person to just be like, yeah, I'm gonna live forever. Let's go.
So stars from a wider scope, because I love the first time we picked up Asta and like she was a little hesitant. Now she's just like, there's a Karen. It's probably got stuff in it. Let's go. And the dynamic, like a star for like when you're at session 3 or 4 and you're just like, well, if I do this ritual, it might wipe me out, versus, hey, raise that dead body right now. Like, we've got resources to burn. Let's do this. And stars for everyone's like the way that people like. I love the engagement between everybody. It's very fun. I like the quote unquote party dynamic of hunters, because like everyone's kind of using everybody, and there's friendships that have been built upon this, but still like there's that level of, well, if they snuff it, like friendship at arm's length, like even these people that we've risked our lives for will continue to do so. It's just like they could die. uh just starts for I'm liking this excursion so far. It's interesting. I'm curious to see what's going on with this. It seems like a lot of fun.
A wish that I have is Theoban currently has in his possessions a wanted poster for Theda. I don't think that it's come up yet.
No, it
And I feel
hasn't.
like over the next couple sessions that might come up. Aggie wasn't there during our last game when Theoban 100% threw one of their companions under the bus during Hearthstone, and I'd love to see if that is going to continue to be a theme for him. Um, Maybe he's just a really bad guy, and I can't wait to find out.
And I love, yeah, like the general vibe where it's like we've been working together, we're friendly, we're friends, we all have such different approaches, and I feel like and such different like goals in the end. Just like, like yeah, and I think that's fun to see that like bounce off. Um, I did not like when the vampire was a Medusa, I was so happy. Like it was the best. And for a wish, I like keep thinking I need to do something with this stone arm. I need to just like have like us. So I'm gonna do something with the stone arm. I want things to happen to the stone arm. Remind me if I forget that Asa has a stone arm. Like, but I feel like she should be like tapping everything with it now.
And I love that moment when Theda thinks they're gonna both pull the sheet together, and Asta absolutely gets out of dodge.
Oh, see, and I
That was amazing.
I misread. No, I think it worked out perfect. I misread the situation. I thought they were going to run for it. It was a race.
Ah,
So it was like one, two, boom. Like, but no, I think that's also, that works too. Like, I'll let you figure this out and then I'll come back. Like either way, no, but that was great. That was great.
I loved
And
that moment.
that setup that like, okay, on count of three, like that was great.
Yeah.
which really could mean a lot of things.
Yeah. Yeah. But I feel like that's the other thing, and I feel like playing together, like it's like, oh, let's set this up, like bounce that bouncing off energy.
Yeah.
Always makes me happy.
One of the things I continue to love about Trophy is something isn't until it is. And it's such a nice framework of the narrative because however much is written or whatnot, it can change on a whim to fit the story. And that's really fun.
Yeah, it's definitely one of my favorite parts about the system is like it's it's not that I don't have to prep. It's that there are certain things to prep, but then the rest of it is like devil's bargains. Devil's bargains are like where the story actually happens. And I know that sounds a little weird, but it's like spoilers, there's no vampire in this incursion. There, in fact, like the Karen, it like uh only is supposed to have the sword. The only reason the vampiress was there is because we agreed that it was, and it came out as a devil's bargain. And now she's a problem. Yeah, and I just love how this game lets us do that and have fun. Because you guys, because it takes two to tango. You have to give a devil's bargain and accept it. And so it's like, if everybody agrees, like this is what we find fun, hell yeah, let's go. Written word be damned. Great. Any other starsies or wishes? Cool. Then I've got a little stinger for you all. Um
Oh no, don't tell Theoban.
get it because it's a stinger. Because like a
Waka
bee.
waka.
Oh my god. Um as you are digging through these star metal weapons in the blacksmith, Asta, all of your like the little hairs on your arms start to stand up. And you hear the sort of that there's that sort of whisper sometimes that the red rose will do where she's calling, like tugging at your soul from the curse that binds her. And the the Taga dagger, it's warm to the touch. And as you walk back out to the doorway, there's just smoke now rolling through the streets of Kermaw. But every now and then, the way that smoke does, sometimes it sort of pulls back a little bit. And in the red haze of the glow, every now and then, some of the like flowing, like billowing clouds of smoke, they sometimes look a little more red. And then when they flow, they don't look so much like clouds, but more like red hair. And the red clouds begin to look more like a sort of liquid form, like a sort of living synthetic dress. And some of the embers, they sort of linger there and they look this sort of like hot green glow to them. And the whisper in it's a deathly whisper, but in the back of your head you can just hear her screaming, she's here, she's here, she's here, she's here, she's here.